When I turn this camera on, I immediately feel like I'm talking to myself, which might be dangerous because I might start talking to myself, and in that case, I'll feel like it's okay to say whatever I want to say, when in reality, this is being put on the internet for everyone and anyone to listen to. So I'm gonna try and refrain myself from sharing the gory details of my personal life, but at the same time, if it's helpful and it's going to make logical sense with what I'm explaining, I will probably share it anyway. Hey lovelies, welcome back. Episode 2. I still haven't launched the first episode, so I do not know any of y'all's reaction to this other than the reactions to the clips that I've been posting. I'm filming this on Friday, so I'm releasing it tomorrow, which is crazy to think that I've gotten this far already. It feels like just yesterday was an idea, which I guess was like years ago, but still, it's wild. I'm still so excited. The setup that I have right now is insanely jank, and it's gonna get improved as we go on, obviously, but as of right now, you're gonna deal with me trying to figure out what looks the best. And so far, the lighting from my window compliments me the absolute most. However, there is nowhere to stand anything, so I'm just lounging here awkwardly. But that's where we're at, and that's okay, and it's just gonna show improvement. Today's episode is a little bit different from last week. I was originally gonna title it "Why Can't We Just Be Happy?" because why can't we just be happy? But instead, I think I'm going to title this one "You Might Be the Problem," which tends to be the case in my life, but I don't realize it or acknowledge it, and that's something that I think everyone can relate to, is not being able to see yourself as the issue, because it's hard to reflect as that and like realize that you yourself might just be the problem. And it's crazy to think about too, and along with everything else in life, and that goes with relationships, friendships, like any relationship, not just like a romantic relationship, but any relationship with people that you have, even if it's like a working relationship, something like that. Any conflict that you have, there's always two sides to the story, and you're never going to know the full story unless you reflect on yourself and your actions, because even if you're able to step into someone else's shoes and look at it from their point of view, you still won't really see their point of view until you realize that you might be part of the problem. I think my brain is rambling a little bit right now because I've had such an insane day, so let me tell you about that real quick before we dive into everything else that we're gonna yap about. I got the opportunity. FIT has amazing opportunities for their students. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you're able to actually look into everything that they're doing, it's so fun. So they had a women's conference today, and I went to one of the panels. I went to two of the panels, but the second one was insanely impressive, and I got to ask questions. I was able to ask them what they did to self-sabotage while they were investing in themselves, and how they were able to overcome that, and what they did to overcome that and reach the top and climb to where they are now, because there were some amazing women that they were all amazing. Every single person that I listened to talk today was so cool, and it was awesome to listen to, and I just feel honored to be able to be a part of it, or be able to sit there and be a part of it. But I did get to ask that question, and they just kind of dived into talking about overthinking and to not be too comfortable, which is really crazy because that's something that I talked about in the last episode. So it's really interesting to hear someone say that and confirm what I was thinking, and also things that I've been through, and to see women that were so powerful talk about things that I go through right now. So it's really cool to be able to connect with someone like that. And what I mean about being too comfortable is, she was talking about how she was in her job for about 12 years. It was a great job. She was stable. She was making a stable living, and she was saying that she could have stayed in that job for the rest of her life and been content. But she kept getting offers from places to go work, and finally she ended up getting this one call, and she was like, why am I holding myself back? I feel like everyone does that. Like, you're scared of success, so you don't take that leap into success because it's unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. That's completely valid to be scared of that. I think there's a lot of things like that everyone is scared of. I understand completely. I mean, I'm terrified to bring this out into the world, but at the same time, I'm so excited, and this is me being scared to be successful, and I really think this is the path to success for me, is just flaunting my authenticity and being myself, and I think that's the only thing that's going to get me anywhere. And I think that goes for everyone. The more that you act like yourself and the more that you're really authentically you, as cheesy as that sounds, it's so true. Like, every single person that you see that's in a position to be higher up or running a company, or anyone that you know that has that amount of success, has to be authentically them. You can't copy someone and reach the top with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it doesn't work that way. You have to show authenticity and realness, and that's what I want this to be. So hopefully that's the vibe you're getting from this. I'm not sure how to explain that one. But yeah, that goes into being too comfortable with yourself and anything. I tend to not let myself be too comfortable, so, which I think drives me to where I am now. At least it has driven me to where I am now. I have never let myself stay in a position where I felt comfortable for too long, because I don't feel like I'll grow if I continue to stay in that area. And that has self-sabotaged myself before, to be honest, because sometimes I'm too comfortable in a situation and I feel like it's wrong to be in, because, oh, I'm so comfortable here, I need to get out. I'm connecting dots for myself at the moment, if you couldn't tell. But I'll be so comfortable in the situation, and I'll think that it's wrong to stay in it because I'm so comfortable, and if I leave it, then I'll grow. But there are situations that you can stay in that are comfortable to you, but also scare you, and so you think that the only direction to go is to leave. But that is not always the case. It could be that it's a comfortable, scary, good situation to be in, and you should stick by it and see it through. That goes into a lot, so if you can read that deep, then good luck. But I feel like I tend to self-sabotage my own happiness a lot, and that stems off of what I just said. It really does go into that, as being so comfortable that I'll make myself leave, or being so comfortably scared. I don't know if that makes any sense, but hopefully someone's getting something out of this. I really feel like fear drives me in a lot of ways, in the best way possible. I'm scared of failing, but I also want to fail, and I'm scared of success, but I also want to succeed. I'm scared of trying new things, but I would love to try everything. Like, it's so weird, because everything that I want to do, I'm terrified of doing. Skydiving is one of them. That is on my list. I've wanted to go skydiving for quite some time now. I think I've wanted to go skydiving ever since I found out that my mom did it. And then I was like, okay, well, she did it, so now I have to do it, type of thing. And same thing, like, she moved away when she was my age, whenever I moved to Hawaii. Or, I guess she moved to New York at my age when I moved to New York. So we moved to New York if that makes any sense to anyone. But I left home for a gap year. She also had a gap year, and then we both came to New York at the same time. That's kind of cool, actually, to reflect on. But she also went skydiving. I really want to go skydiving, but that also freaking terrifies me. Like, what do you mean jumping out of a plane? I don't know. That's something on my checklist, and it will get done. Ashlyn, back to you being the problem. That's annoying. Because you're never the problem. I'm just kidding. But I'm so bad at this, guys. This is my flaw, is that I think that I'm always right. I feel like I'm always right all the time, and I can be right the majority of the time, but any fight that I've gotten in with anyone, I tend to be like, okay, well, they're wrong, I'm right. And I don't, even in the moment, like, I'll really see it as they are in the wrong, I am in the right, and then we'll talk more and more and more into the conversation. I'll start realizing, like, maybe I am the one that did something, or maybe I did add to this, and then I start being like, what? And I take accountability for it. If I know that I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. But there are a lot of times where I really didn't realize that I was in the wrong until way after the conversation. And then I'm like, huh. And then I don't know how to go back there or bring it up again, because then I'm like, wait, what do you mean I'm in the wrong? Like, sorry about that. I think I do a lot of things subconsciously. I think that's a pretty human thing to do. And I'm starting to learn how to untrain myself from doing that. I feel like I do tend to be pretty conscious about the actions that I make, but I mean, we're all human, we all make mistakes. It goes in a lot of different directions, we differ, we vary, but I think overall I am pretty good at admitting when I'm wrong and owning up to my mistakes. But it is weird to think about those moments where I was so convinced that I was in the right, and looking back on it, I'm like, I mean, part of me was in the right, but, well, for some I don't know, there's probably some situations where I still haven't recognized, and I was completely in the wrong. What makes me think of this is my mom, for example. Her and I will have, like, these long, deep discussions about whatever, and she'll bring something up, and for some reason, it'll hit my core, and then I'll get really defensive about it, and I'll be like, no, like, I don't think like that, I don't do that, I don't, blah, 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 like, I'm not like that, and I'll get so defensive about something because she's telling it to me, and I'm like, no, like, if you're getting defensive about it, something they're saying is correct. Like, if you feel the need to defend yourself, something the other person is saying is probably true, because if they were saying just lies, like, are you gonna sit there and, like, be like, what? No. Or are you just gonna be like, babe, come on, like, let's be real. I mean, obviously, if someone's, like, thinking that, if someone's accusing you of murder or something, it is your right to defend yourself by all means. But to be fair, if someone was accusing me of murder, I would probably laugh. I don't, like, obviously, I don't know what the scenario would be or what the situation would be surrounding that, but thinking about someone accusing me of murder just kind of makes me giggle, because what? I don't know. Okay, that's off topic and completely irrelevant, but it goes along with being defensive. If you are being super defensive because of something someone is saying to you, it probably means that part of what they're saying is true. And that is annoying. I hate it. I hate being wrong. I hate not being in the right. I love being right. It's like, it feeds me. I love to be right. But I acknowledge that I can be wrong, and that's something I'm working on, and that is something I'm working towards, is to be able to acknowledge it in the moment instead of after the moment has passed, because that adds annoyance on both sides, honestly, because I'm annoyed with myself that I didn't realize it sooner, and they're annoyed with me because I didn't realize it sooner. It goes both ways, But that's what I was saying, is, like, you might be part of the problem, and you don't even realize it at first until after you go back and you reflect, and you're like, oh, I did do that. Like, I was a little crazy in that situation. I don't think of myself as a crazy person, but we all have our moments. We all have our moments. That's what I'm going to touch on with that one, is that we all have our moments. And it's okay. It is okay to be crazy on occasion. Just don't make that your livelihood, But that also goes into what I was saying before as well, is that you can't always be happy. And I think that reflects onto this situation, is because having those moments and being so convinced in yourself and what you're telling yourself, and then like being so upset and so caught up in it, and then steering off into another direction, and then later reflecting on it. And I feel like you can only reflect when you are in a happy place. At least that tends to be what it's like for me. If I'm so upset and my brain is spiraling, it's so hard for me to reflect on myself, because I overthink everything. I'm so bad at overthinking. That's a big topic that I wanted to touch on too, because I don't understand people that don't overthink things. What do you mean you're sitting there thinking about what TV show you're gonna watch tonight? Or what your next meal is gonna be? Like, that's what's on your minds? I'm sitting here thinking about how the whole world came about and how every single moment in my life led up to where I'm at right now and how every single mistake I made crafted me into a human being. And that's, like, that's me, babe. I don't know how to not overthink every single... I will sit there and I'll be like, I said this to someone today. Why did I say it like that? Why did I use that tone of voice? Do they hate me? Did I sound angry? Oh, I probably sounded mad, and now they'll never talk to me again. Or maybe they think this about me, and now I'm sitting here acting stupid. Or I'll say something, like, too late. Like, someone will say something, and then I'll process what they said, and then I'll say something, and I'll be like, oh, I said that way too late. Like, they're gonna think I'm so weird. Like, these are things that are so normal for me, and it's so normal for so many people that I know. And honestly, it's normal for women, and I don't think men think the same way, and that's why... That's a hard thing to address because I do think women tend to overthink more than men do, and it does lead back to our brain chemistry. Like, genuinely, it's something that our brains are just made different as a scientific fact, and once we can all appreciate each other's differences a little more instead of trying to be completely equal, then I think the world would be a much better place. I'm not saying we don't deserve equality. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we aren't the same. Let's just address it. We should love everyone as themselves, but no one's the same, and no one's gonna act the same. And we do have different body makeups, and that's okay. But it's a good thing. I love the way that my body is made. However, I do overthink everything, and it drives me mentally insane half the time. Specifically when I am spiraling about if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Like, because I will think that I could be wrong in this situation, but then eventually I'll spiral back to me being right, and then I'll be like, well, I'll spiral in the sense, I'll be like, this person did this to me, and that hurt my feelings, so that means that they're wrong. And then I'll start spiraling about that. But no, babe, they hurt your feelings. That doesn't mean they're wrong. You can address to them that they hurt your feelings and share, and how they react to that could determine whether you're right or not. But, I mean, if you're telling someone that even if what they said was absolutely correct, but you're telling them, hey, you saying this hurt my feelings, and their immediate response is to be like, you shouldn't be hurt by that because that's true, blah, blah, blah. Really? Like, that's what we're doing. Come on, girl. Come on, please. If their reaction is, oh, I'm so sorry that I hurt you, like, that's completely, like, what you're feeling is valid. I just need you to understand that this is where I'm coming from. If that's the response, you got a good one. Just know it. But yeah, noticing the way that people react to the conversations that you start is a huge determinator for if they should stay in your life or not. If you have conversations where, first of all, I think you should have deep, heavy conversations with anyone that you keep close to you. I think that is the most essential thing that you can have in a relationship is trust and deep connection. I think that's so unbelievably important, and being able to have that with anyone is such a beautiful thing. But I think that, like I said, that's a determinator. If someone's yelling at you and screaming in your face, they're not that they don't love you, but anyone that raises their voice, doesn't know how to communicate with you, won't take the time to learn how to communicate with you, they don't care enough to show that to you. And that's when you know that even if you are wrong and you are in the wrong in whatever the situation is, them not being able to learn your side of communication is enough for you to be like, okay, I can admit that I'm wrong, but I can't be in this situation anymore. And that is hard as that is the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my life, is walk away from a situation like that. And I don't think I've been in multiple of those situations. I mean, I guess I'm thinking of a couple, but there's just a lot of situations where someone is not learning the way that you need to communicate with how they're talking to you. Okay, if someone could be completely right, like completely in the right, like you are wrong, babe, like you're doing something wrong, they are completely right, but the way that they communicate that to you and address you with it is the determining factor if they should stay in your life or not. Because if they come up to you and they're like, you're wrong, you're doing this wrong, how can you think like blah 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 blah, like that's just toxic and it's mean. But I mean, it goes along with saying the other way, like if someone comes up to you and is like, hey, I need you to understand that this is how I feel. Talking with I feel statements, I can't stress how powerful that is, because if you're just accusatory the whole time, then you're not going to get anywhere. It's never going to go anywhere. And that's something that I've not recently, but like that's something I've had to learn too. There are plenty of relationships that I've had where I didn't know how to communicate either, and that's something that I had to learn, and I still am learning. Like there's a lot that I need to work on, that being one of them. But I mean, it's okay. We're always going to have something new that we need to learn. There's always going to be something that we have to work on. I feel like I am always, not always, I feel like I usually am the type of person to weigh out things for myself to grow. Like, for example, I shouldn't talk to this person anymore because I need to grow so I can be better for them, which is true in some statements. In some cases, that could be the case. But also at the same time, don't you want to be talking to that person while you grow so you can grow together? That's a complicated one, and there's different situations and different scenarios for that, and it could go either way, to be honest. Sometimes you really do need your space to be able to grow without someone, but at the same time, growing together is never wrong. It's never an issue. I don't think anyone will ever be fully grown into themselves, if that makes sense. Like, you're always going to be growing with someone. You're never not going to be growing, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And so you should always find someone that you know you're going to be able to grow with in life, in any scenario, whether that's a best friend or relationship, whatever it is. You should be growing with them. You should always be growing with them and making them better. Also, I got the cover art for Self-Sabotage back, which is insane. Obviously, you guys already know what it is, but I'm freaking out about it. I think I look so sexy, and it's just so cool to me that I get to do that. But yeah, I think that is pretty much the main topic of the conversation today, is just reflect on yourself and be able to look into yourself. That makes you such a powerful human being. Like, I really cannot stress enough how powerful you become once you are able to accept your faults. It's crazy, and I'm still addressing them. I'm still accepting them. We're all human. It takes forever, and the hardest thing you can do is accept every fault that you have. It's insane to think that, like, you're in the wrong. I don't know, maybe that's just a me issue. I just really like being right, and I think everyone likes being right. I think it's a genuine satisfaction that we all share, and it's really weird when we're not right or we're not in the right, and it's so strange to get like that. But I'm beyond excited for the growth that I have been showing recently, and I'm so excited for the epiphanies that I've been having recently. I don't know why, but I've had an epiphany like every other day. Like, something in my life happens and I'm like, oh, like, I reacted to that situation like a crazy bitch because I was being sad about this. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, like, that makes sense, so let's not do that in the future, you know? Like, let's move on and be cool, calm, and collective, and we'll see where that gets us. But I think being able to reflect is a superpower, and it's hard. It's so hard, and I don't know, guys. I can't even preach on it too much because I don't fully reflect on everything that I've done. I know that there's a lot that I need to learn, and there's a lot that I need to do to grow, but I have been getting better at self-reflecting and being self-aware, and I think that's really powerful, and I think being able to do that only makes you stronger I think a lot of people view that as a weakness, and I don't quite understand why. Like, mental health is what I mean. A lot of people will view mental health as a weakness or anything surrounding that, but once you're able to turn your weaknesses into your strengths, it's so cool. It feels so refreshing to be able to take something that hard for yourself and turn it into something so beautiful. I know that there's a lot of people that deal with depression, obviously, and coming out of that and learning how to love yourself from that, it's a hard process and it's a long process, but it's possible. I'm telling you right now, it's possible. Like, you can get out of stuff like that. And it's crazy to think where I used to be and the way that I used to view life. Like, I used to be so sad all the time, and it's really weird to think of myself like that now because I tend to be a very happy, bubbly person. Don't get me wrong, I still get sad. I still get upset over things. But now when I'm sad over things, I view it as more of like a sigh moment. Let me explain. A sigh moment is like, okay, this sucks, but we're gonna move on because there's nothing we can do about it. You sigh, you move on. It's okay. So don't get caught up on things like that. Just have your sigh moment. Take a minute, breathe, cry if you need to. That's okay too. But why are you going to put yourself into a spiral over something that you really can't control? I'm a control freak, so that is something that I'm still learning because I need control over everything. But yeah, take a sigh. Just make it a sigh issue, you know? Like, and move on, and you're fine. And it's really not that deep. It's not that deep. And it makes life a lot easier to look at it that way. I can't stop staring at the birds. So I think we're gonna call it a day. I hope you enjoyed this new background. We're gonna figure something else. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that for today. I feel like that was pretty valid episode. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made you smile in some type of way. I don't know. But I feel pretty blessed that someone's listening to this, and I hope that you have an amazing, blessed, perfect, beautiful, happy day or night, whatever time it is for you. I am going to edit this and do my homework for the rest of the day and then go to bed. And I'll call it a night. But I hope that you all are doing lovely. And I'm sending you kisses. Bye.